I am very excited about today's session because it is with Leisha Jarrett, who is one of my spiritual coaches. That she said there's 3 waves of change that we are currently experiencing. The first wave is purging, healing, reflection, recognizing, and change.
And at the moment, a lot of people are experiencing a lack of clarity. What do I do now? What's my path? What's important? A lot of questions are coming up for people. This is great if we can surrender to the not knowing and be comfortable with the lack of clarity. The third wave will bring the clarity because it happens just before it's time to take action.
That so many people are in a bit of a state because their old way of being, their old path was being disrupted. I have a feeling that this is in order to bring us back to our real path, what our soul's bliss is to do, what we really are supposed to do on this planet. Josh, hi guys. I am very excited about today's session because it is with Leisha Jarrett, who is one of my spiritual coaches that I have been working with now for 2 years. I'm going to just talk a little bit about a blog that she wrote that we are going to be discussing today, so that you just have a little bit of an introduction. So she said there's 3 waves of change that we are currently experiencing. The first wave is purging, healing, reflection, recognizing, and change. Guys, let's welcome Leisha because she is online.
Always happy to be here, Susanna. Yeah, sure. So I was given this vision recently to help me understand the 3 waves of change that we're all going through because of this global event. This global event being a highly activating time for all of us. For me, purging means an accelerated rate at which your wounding or your stuff or your limitations and triggers come up in order for them to be acknowledged, healed, and integrated. So across the world right now, all of our stuff is being highly activated, so the things that we've been working on for years as conscious beings, our patterns and our triggers and our woundings and so what's happened is almost like this pushing force has occurred through the collective consciousness, and it's triggering these energies to come to the surface. So that means that we'll be feeling it, we will be in it, we will be triggered, there'll be emotional waves, there'll be intensity within those waves. And what I've been saying to people to help people understand this is that it can feel like you're just stuck in a wound, like stuck in your programming, stuck in your limited beliefs, stuck in negative emotion, feeling triggered all the time, not knowing what to do, feeling contracted. But what's actually happening is you're releasing just very, very, very quickly. And your kind of mind is trying to catch up with that by analyzing it a lot. And also your physical body, because your physical body does a lot of the processing too. It feels it, and the imprints come out of the tissues themselves. So this purging wave is a healing. Purging is a form of healing. It's just a very intense, accelerated, cycle. And through this time of purging, there is reflection, there's internal reorganization, there's a lot of change, and everything's kind of getting thrown up inside of us at the moment. So the other thing to note too, though, is that it's different for everyone, because not everyone will say, oh yeah, I'm definitely purging. Somebody might say, oh, actually, I feel pretty calm. So purging can happen on lots of levels of the consciousness. It doesn't need to be super intense for everyone. In fact, it never is the same for everyone, because we couldn't all fall apart at the same time or all be in, that much intensity at the same time. But as a collective wave, it is occurring on that collective level for everyone. So I've been doing a lot of support work for people around understanding this wave and actually surrendering to it, like just letting go and let it happen. Let the stuff come up. Let the feelings come through. Don't try and solve it. Don't try and fix it. Don't try and hurry it. The way that we deal with it is to actually surrender, to let it be a part of our experience, because there's nothing that needs fixing. It's a wave, just like in the ocean. It'll crash and it'll submerge back into the rest of the ocean if we allow ourselves to do that.
It's it's so great that you are explaining it in that way, and then also just recognizing that that everyone has their own experience, because I've had moments of having these crashes, and then I've had these moments of euphoria and just absolute connection, and knowing that whatever is happening, this kind of chaotic state that certain things are happening in at the moment, we're actually just moving through this in the right way, and exactly the way that we're supposed to be moving through this, And then it's almost like the old paradigm comes and kind of grabs me and goes, but sorry, you actually have, and then I go through like and then I've got to kind of remind myself, okay, just feel what you need to feel. Greet it with love and gratitude for having brought what it brought into your life. I think that maybe we should speak about the activation, innovation, what is it? Resourcefulness and creativity.
When we purge, we're releasing density that literally takes up space energetically inside of us. When we purge it, our vacuum effect as we expand, which creates a lot more space and momentum for creativity. And that's the purpose of any activation, because we are creative beings. We're creating all the time, but we can create more consciously and more powerfully when we're not contracted in our stuff. So I just might say at this point too, these three waves that I'm talking about are happening simultaneously on a micro level. But the sense that I got, or the guidance that I got, is that they will also happen one after the other in a bigger collective way. So as we move through this coronavirus experience, for example, on the planet right now, we are mostly in this purging, healing, reflection phase. Creativity is happening, but there's going to be a big wave that we see globally, in the next few weeks, next few months, where there's a massive amount of creativity, innovation, new ideas, change, implementation of stuff that wasn't there before. So a lot of conscious businesses will expand. A lot of people that are in creative businesses will get lots of downloads and lots of ideas. So this creative wave is happening on a micro level now, but it is going to happen on a macro level, planetary, global wise as well. And we're going to start to see that in our social structures and in the way that communities are responding to come back from this experience. So, I mean, it's certainly been happening for me. Lots of creative downloads. I've got to kind of write everything down and make sure I don't forget and lose these creative downloads. But the important thing is not to feel rushed, because the creativity comes through in waves like downloads, but you're not going to lose it. You're not going to forget it. So know that it may not be time to act on that creativity. It's coming in like downloading, like light codes. It's going to anchor within you. And when it feels right to take action steps, you'll know that without a doubt.
In your webinar, actually, you were speaking about the importance of living your soul's path, your true soul's path. And I was saying that so many people are in a bit of a state on Monday in my connecting with everyone. And because their old way of being, their old path was being disrupted. And I was saying that I have a feeling that this is in order to bring us back to our real path, what our soul's bliss is to do, what we really are supposed to do on this planet. Do you think that is part of this shift and go inside period?
100%. That's the third wave. The third wave is all about embodiment. Embodiment is grounding the change, grounding the creativity, and then activating it in the physical world. So everybody's soul path will become clearer as this third wave lands. And, we've got this human tendency that we want to know everything now. And when we don't have clarity, we feel very uncomfortable. But the point of clarity, when clarity comes, is so then we can take action. And at the moment, a lot of people are experiencing a lack of clarity. What do I do now? What's my path? What's important? A lot of questions are coming up for people. This is great if we can surrender to the not knowing and be comfortable with the lack of clarity. The third wave will bring the clarity, because it happens just before it's time to take action. And the action taking can be simple, subtle things, or it can be dramatic shifts in our lives, because we are going to feel very different when that third wave hits. And when we come through, you know, in months, a few months from now, when we land after the peak of this experience, we are going to all be changed on a cellular, DNA and fundamental level. And we're being asked by our higher selves to pay attention to that. How do we need to navigate our lives from that point forward? That what's different for us, what's meaningful. This is all about soul path direction. And people are starting to feel it now, but it's going to be felt a lot more in a lot more embodied and clearer way as we get into the second half of the year.
One of the things that for me is when you don't respect your own boundary, because you can feel it in yourself when you're not respecting your own boundary, you're actually disrespecting yourself and your higher self. And for somebody who has loose boundaries or undefined boundaries, it is quite difficult, because you to find where that boundary is. Leisha, do you deal with that a lot with
it's
people?
It's absolutely massive. And the thing that we all have as conscious beings is we are here to be of service, and we do have open hearts. And there is a core wound that we all have, which is the overgiving. And it's just part of the human condition that we're all learning through. But I've received countless messages that we must address our boundaries, because if we're not empowered as conscious beings as we move into the new age, the new earth, the fifth dimension, we cannot anchor our soul path in the way that is truest for us, because we can't be everything for everyone. We're actually only here to live our soul purpose, our soul truth, and our soul expression. And what's starting to happen, particularly this year, 2020, is we are going to get a lot more clarity about what that is for us, our path, our service, our light, you know, our offering. When we don't have discernment and boundaries, it's also very difficult for us to receive properly, because the energy of receiving, when we receive anything, it wants to land somewhere. You know, it wants to land in our life, it wants to land in our abundance, it wants to land in our consciousness. And if we are leaking energy and our life force is low, and we're overgiving and we're unclear, it's very actually difficult for us to hold on to what we're given by spirit, by higher self, by life force. So I do see this a lot, and this is one of the key messages coming into the new earth that I've been helping people with, is because it is hard when we're not used to it, and we've been givers, we've been rescuers, we've been healers, we've been, you know, all of that, and we are everything, all of us. So it's one of the most important things, that one of my key words for 2020 is discernment. And I mean all the time. Is it right for me to have coffee with this person? You know, I've known this person for 20 years, but I'm just not feeling alive when I see them. You know, do I need to let them go? So they're hard questions sometimes. Do I need to shift careers or jobs? Some of it, you know, it's really tough. And some of it's just subtle everyday stuff. Like, what do I need? Do I need a bit more time for me? Do I need to rest a bit more? So it happens on multiple levels. But if that's a key message, because it did come through on this call, so when I do guided meditation, I'm given the meditation in the moment that's relevant for who's participating. So it was one of the key messages that came up today.
Questions that is coming through here is, do these boundaries affect us in a way to be more anxious?
Absolutely. So if our boundaries are poor, because all conscious beings are also empathic, whether we realize that or not. So we actually are sensitives. We're all sensitives. So we feel stuff and we engage with stuff that isn't always ours. And we may not be aware of that. I've been doing boundary work and empowerment work on myself for years, and my life has dramatically changed as a result of that. I used to be a yes person and a people pleaser, and found it very difficult to say no and to pull my energy back. And as a result, I had chronic illness. I went through a period of chronic fatigue. Money came in and came out. I found it difficult to build wealth, relationship issues, betrayals. I had a massive amount of experiences that made it really difficult for me. When I started doing empowerment work and boundary work, my life dramatically changed in every way. And now I do that work with others too. So just to answer the question about anxiety specifically, often empaths, which we all are, we will feel anxiety when we feel other people's stuff. I mean, I still can sometimes walk into a room and suddenly feel nervous or anxious in my belly and wonder it's why. If I just stop, it's not my energy. Someone in that room is nervous, someone's running a charge, or there's a conflict happening between two other people, and I'm feeling that. So anxiety is often just a build-up of energy that hasn't had an opportunity to release in yourself or in others that you're picking up. But when your boundaries are absolutely solid, you don't pick up that energy. And me, being a psychic intuitive, have had to learn this the hard way. Now what happens for me is I can feel what's going on for another person without getting the negative feelings in my body or the overwhelm in my body. It's just awareness. And we're all learning about that, because we're all going to be more empathic and more intuitive as we evolve.
Yeah, it's I mean, the thing is that we, as within, so without, as within, so without. You've got to remember, when you don't have the boundaries, when you say somebody is disrespecting you, by you not having the boundary, you're disrespecting you. And when we're not conscious of that, we're just seeing the reflection of it coming at us instead of what our part in it. So that is something that I hope helps you guys. I know that we're going to close off soon, but I just wanted to let you guys know that that blog that Leisha wrote, I will share it in the link with you guys, so that you guys can go and follow Leisha's blogs, because I love them. They're really fantastic. And then also, Leisha, I just wanted to touch on your webinar, because you did your first webinar of your. How did it go?
Oh, so amazing and beautiful. I love group work, and I'm really called to do it on the planet right now with everything that's going on. And it's a very, very powerful transformation space for people. If anyone is drawn to go deeper, feels called to go deeper, there'll be a link somewhere on Susanna's side around this video to jump in and have a look at my membership. We did a call on Tuesday. The replay is just as powerful. It's always happening in the live now moment for you, even if it's on replay. We actually went into a lot of stuff around receiving. This is a really big collective thing on the planet right now. Most of the call was about that. I talked a lot about the shift between 4D and 5D and explaining that. That's a bit of a mystery zone for lots of people, that language. What does it really mean? I will be talking about that more in future too. And then we went into relationship recalibration, and this was coming up precisely because what we're talking about, Susanna, this whole boundaries, respect, discernment area, is about the relationship we have with ourselves. But our relationships are changing around us as we evolve into 5D now, as the world changes. For the reasons I said before, there are going to be a lot of relationships that are no longer in alignment. That is just going to happen. We do need to surrender and trust that that's okay, and to be supported to let go of misalignments in our personal lives or our work lives or whatever. And some relationships that we're already enjoying will deepen. Friendships and connections will actually deepen and evolve, and new relationships are going to come in that are nourishing, that are like-minded, that you walk away from feeling full, not walk away from feeling maybe tired, drained or confused, which some relationship recalibration is going on there. And look, I always say to people, you have to honor your soul truth, even if it doesn't make sense to other people. You must do that as a conscious being. And your truth is always everyone else's truth, even if they don't know it yet. People say, I don't want to hurt this person, and I don't, I've been friends for a long time, but I'm just not feeling drawn to catch up with them. And if that is the truth for you, you must honor it, and with love share that with the other person, knowing that you're actually freeing them to go and have other alignments that work for them at a higher level too. So this is where we're challenged. It's difficult as loving beings. We want to be love all the time, but discernment is also love. Honoring our soul truth is also love. And these are the things that we really need to focus on right now.
Sure, that is such a challenging thing for me because one of my core wounds, was feeling left out from when I was little, like unwanted and feeling left out. And I wonder how that's going to shift now, you know, but my innate kind of impulse is always to include and bring in. And what often happens for me, and I don't know how you guys feel out there, but you end up bringing in people that do suck your energy and that do take advantage of you and that do, you know, really just not honor you. And the reality is that by you taking them in, you're not honoring yourself. And so for me, this is a major, major, major lesson or transformation that I feel is being accelerated at the moment. I mean, even with my guests, you know, I'm getting so many requests to be on this platform on Thrive. You know, I'm getting daily requests, and I'm really just having to trust my gut and kind of go, but I know that this person is right. And because I can feel that this person is right. And this person, although they've done incredible work and I respect them and I honor them for being on their path, they're not really right for my audience, for my, you know, for my people. And it's so hard. It's so challenging for me. And I'm sure others are experiencing that.
It is hard. That's a really good point, Susanna, because our truth isn't always logical. It's intuitive and heart-based. And often it isn't logical. And when we pay attention to things that aren't logical, we get out of the analytical mind. We start to get the evidence. The evidence starts to come back. And people often say to me, oh my God, this is so weird. I felt like I got this weird guidance, but when I followed it, this amazing thing happened, you know, and that's going to be happening more and more as well. I also just wanted to reflect back on what you said about being your wound of being left out and then trying to include everyone. So when we do things as a response from our wound, we're enabling the wound.
Yeah.
Right. So it's all about energy. If that was true for you, that you were being inclusive from a place of power and truth, and that's your highest alignment, and my guidance is to include everyone, the energy would be very supportive for everyone and you wouldn't feel drained. But because you're coming from a wound, the energy is discordant, and so it will attract in discordant energy, and you know, it enables the wound. So this is what we're being this is being illuminated for us more and more as we move into consciousness on the planet at the moment, is where are we acting through wounding and where are we acting through our truth and power.
One of the real takeaways that it just keeps getting deeper and deeper for me is that this energy work is timeless. And so when when a healing is done, when a meditation is done, there's an incredible and I've just gotten goosebumps all down my body, but there's an incredible energy matrix that is created around that holds it. And there is no time, space, reality. So when you watch this, if you're watching this live now, then that's wonderful. But if you're watching a recording of it, please know that the effectiveness of what has been shared and the healing is as intense, it's as real, it's as powerful. So I really want you to know that, because for me, it's such a gift. Even looking over the webinar this morning and knowing that I can come back to certain parts and listen to it again, and those parts just become more, you know, deeper ingrained in me, that knowledge, that shift, whatever it is. It really is a gift. So thank you, Leisha, from the bottom of my heart, for being a part of this and for being here today and giving of your time and your love and your energy. Thank you.
It's my absolute pleasure, and blessings to everyone, no matter what you're going through. Stay in your heart, and lots of love, everyone.
Lots of love and light. I will see you guys